Hi there, it's Brett Hornby here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel here. Continuing on with personal vlogs. Here we're up to number 72 here. And I just figure I'll ask this question. Do I want Calgary to host the Olympics again? Short answer is yes, I would love to see the Olympics in Calgary again here. As I was definitely still fairly young here when Calgary hosted the Olympics back in 1988 there, as I was over 5.5 years old at the time. And I just, as you know, when you're at that age there, you're just definitely, too young to appreciate the spectacle of the Winter Olympics at that time there. And the fact that when Canada started their On the Podium campaign there, when we got the Olympics, or Canada got the Olympics again for 2010, in Vancouver there, and I felt that some of it started with the Beijing Games in 2008 there, where we actually took competing on an international level much more seriously there, and I'm going to say it still definitely has continued for Olympics going down the road there, with the, Greece, or not thinking Athens, Greece, but London, and then Sochi, and then Rio, and then also the fact in South Korea there. And then also this year in 2020, it's going to be the Summer Games in Tokyo there, and then Beijing will get it again in 2022 there. But getting back into what I'd like Calgary to host the Olympics again there, I mean, absolutely I would love to, just because of, obviously I'm older enough now and would appreciate the spectacle there. But I also made a video giving my reaction to when Calgary, I think we would have gotten the Olympics in 2026 if ultimately we wanted it. But we definitely voted down with the plebiscite there. But I figured that was more because one question to interpret it was, do you trust this current city council to go ahead with that project there? And you hear too many stories now about how expensive it gets, where it says ultimately where the estimated costs were definitely much more greater there, and we as taxpayers definitely got to keep footing the bill there. But it'll definitely be fun if Calgary were to get the Olympics again here. Obviously, we'd probably be getting the Winter Olympics again, hypothetically there. And there's actually a movement, and some were thinking that with the Vancouver Olympics, actually 10 years ago, some were almost thinking of drumming up support that could Vancouver try to get the Olympics again in 2030 there. Although you got to wonder, will Calgary maybe tag along there? Because you definitely see more joint bids here to share the cost here. Because ultimately, the 2026 Winter Olympics there, some were thought that since Calgary dropped out here, that Stockholm, Sweden was going to be the front runner there. But ultimately, went to the Italian bid there. So Italy is going to host the Olympics again in 2026 there, 20 years after it was in Torino, Italy there. But yeah, definitely would be awesome if Calgary were to get the Olympics again, and I do believe it will happen again. I mean, definitely, try to rekindle the magic from 1988 there. I almost figure, hypothetically there, should we get the 2038 Winter Olympics there to celebrate 50 years from 1988 there? That would be neat, but definitely we need a better economy there, and let's just say a little more fiscal responsibility with our governments here right now, because that's why I felt we ultimately rejected the bid to go ahead with it for 2026 there. We had committed funds for other levels of government there, and I work in the engineering and planning industry, and could have been a potential, boost for our industry there. But then there was that fear of, we said it was only going to cost millions to bid this. No, it's actually billions now. But and then, will Vancouver go ahead to pursue the 2030 Winter Olympics there, and maybe Calgary could tag along there, because ultimately, if we were to go ahead with the 2026 Winter Olympics there, the downhill skiing that would have actually been held in Whistler there, because Canada Park definitely is showing his age there, and we were slowly be dismantling that. And there's definitely lots of stuff that we still have some legacy, but we're definitely slowly losing that legacy there. And you definitely would be great to have, the Olympics again. I definitely remember from childhood there, obviously with the pandas, the first time when we got them, and definitely, was a big fan of pandas there growing up. And I remember Petro Canada was definitely a huge sponsor there, and still to this day they, chip in and help out our athletes that compete. But I definitely remember those red cups and the white candles there, the triangle, and the fact that the Calgary Tower and the torch shaped the same, and like the cauldron on top of the Calgary Tower there, and also the fact that David Foster's. And you have a feeling there? I think that the name of the song there. We definitely could reuse that song again. But that's all the memories that I have when I was a few months short of turning 6 at the time there, and I definitely would be much more mature enough to appreciate the whole spectacle of it there, and I just think it's neat, and that's one of the things I highlight with Calgary is we're known for the Calgary Stampede, and the fact that we hosted the 1988 Winter Olympics there, and I definitely would love for Calgary to host the Winter Olympics again. Bring back Heidi and Howdy, the two bears there with the cowboy hats. Yeah, but it's just the cost is definitely something that does scare away some sailors. I mean, going back to the Sochi there, I think I remember they said it was going to cost $14 billion, and ultimately it's cost them $50 billion. And then, one of the things I am fascinated by, watching on this platform here, I'm not going to make that content myself here, but seeing, how abandoned places and that, it was kind of scary there when you had the Olympics in Rio there, and it's like 6 months later, all their facilities were left at rot and decay, and same with, Sochi there, and I mean, same with Greece going back 2004 there, but they definitely had an economic crisis there. I mean, at least Calgary, for up to this point here, a lot of the facilities that we used in the 1988 Winter Olympics that we built, we still had a plan to use them, or in the case if we were to get to 2026 games, update them and reuse them again, which that's the smart way to do it, is you got to think of, well, what are you going to do with these fancy things after the fact there? And I know in Beijing, they reused that water cube as like a fun family, swim center there. So, yeah, I'll just ask this question. Do you want Calgary to host the Olympics again? I definitely would like to, rekindle some memories and now be old enough and appreciate it if it were to happen there. But it's just a dream at this point here, and who knows after 2026. But I think that question was more about, do you trust this city council to go ahead with it? And obviously, no. And that's why we voted it down there. But I think we could have had it then, but there'll definitely be another opportunity in the future there. So yeah, as I say, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, all the Flames, Hitmen, Roughnecks, Stampeders, just make sure you hit like, subscribe, and follow along. Personal vlogs, attempt to comedy, and I also share my experiences on the road or at a sporting event there. Maybe a future Olympics if I still do this whenever we have the Olympics again. Just dreaming or just saying out there. Just make sure you like, subscribe. I also have my social media links in the description there if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey. As I say, go Flames go, and I'll see you in the next video there.